Mm. All right, I'm doing this hangout live. Now, I think this may or may not work. I don't know this. The way that I have this set up, I essentially have let's see here. Yeah. I essentially have this whole thing set up in such a way where it may work in the way that I want it to work. I'm just hoping it does. All right. Give me one moment. Yeah. So hopefully this works in the way that I want it to, and we'll just see if it works in the way that I would prefer it. Yeah. But anyways, let's see here. Nice. So everything seems to be a-okay. So there. There we are. Let me compose of something, and I have to compose of. All right. If you hear that weird humming noise, that's me turning on the other laptop. The more annoying little piece of equipment I have, but I use it just basically post the link on email, then switch that over because apparently the laptop is the only thing that works on Twitter. The This computer refuses to operate on Twitter for some unknown reason, but it's just another hassle I have to deal with. So basically, so yeah, that's how I've been trying to spread the link out to join so that I can invite other people. I've just put on I compose an email. I don't send it to anyone. I just keep it. Then I switch over to my laptop. Then I then then I take that email I can post on Twitter and see how well that goes. There we are. Right now the laptop's being dumb and slow, but that's all right. But I'm keeping an eye on the chats and oh hey Davis Lass. Not much. I mean, I've just been relaxing a bit, and I've been seeing a lot of stupid stuff on just from everywhere lately. A lot of people are saying stupid things, a lot of people are doing stupid things, and surprisingly enough, just too many stupid stuff just happens. It's ridiculous. It really is. One thing for certain is that the biggest stupid thing I've noticed is largely the incompetency of some individuals in my life. Just especially with when you're forced to be in a situation where you have to be with those people. Incompetency, basically. Yeah, it's basically that. And watching too many people go at each other over petty things online. And I'm more salty about the till deer and the cognitive thought sort of battle between each other because largely because I feel like it should have ended after the first or second video, but they keep going on and after each other. At some point, they gotta give up. They gotta either agree or disagree and blah blah blah, and just leave it as that. But nope, the two YouTubers refuse to quit. So ouch. And honestly, it's gotten to the point where it seems to be a waste of time to even argue for and against that sort of stuff because those two people on YouTube have dragged it on for so long. It's lost its meaning on what the argument is. Uh, all right. Let me copy the link. Yeah, there's people like that on both sides. The issue I'm just having is some people just refuse to quit or admits that this is getting out of hand and they should agree to disagree. I guess that more or less bugs me sometimes. It bugs me that you expect good good debating skills, or not so much debating skills, but just good reasoning skills and just having the general ability just to understand when a situation is going a little too hairy and actually just back out instead of getting too dragged, or I wouldn't say dragged, but too muddied in that sort of situation. There we are. Copy that. Hmm. Uh, but overall, I'm just here, just just here, just relaxing, chilling, and we can talk about just about anything you like, or anybody can have a chat and all that. I've also been needing to try this experiment. Now, I've heard this rumor that apparently, if you say this guy's name on a chat or anywhere 3 times, he appears. I want to try that. Granted, I think that is a rumor. Yeah. Now, I don't know if he. I doubt he'll ever come, but yeah, it was worth a shot. Uh, Let me try this. And there we are. Now I posted the link to basically Twitter and see how well that goes. Mm. As soon as I post the link, I can finally turn off the Start laptop. It's rather annoying that the laptop's the only thing that can work on Twitter. Everything else it just refuses to work. And granted, the bigger computer PC actually is very much updated with everything. It has pretty good software. The problem is, for some unknown reason, it just refuses to basically use Twitter of any sort, or in any way, shape, or possible. It just won't do it. So I'm stuck using a laptop only for Twitter purposes, and or spreading the link. However, the benefit of having this laptop is that, well, the better side is that this bigger computer is a lot more quieter. So on Hangouts, you won't hear that loud, annoying buzzing noise all the time, and it can render videos at a much faster pace. There you are. So hopefully that works. Let's see here. Yeah, it's alright. My problem is more exclusive of tech, apparently. like it's either a glitch in the motherboard or it's just some sort of step that I don't know how to fix. But yeah, that's sort of my situation. Just uh, the computer is just being a douchey. Now, where is I'm gonna tweet out to a couple people. There. Oh yeah, that sort of. Yeah, that is still going on. Apparently, not as much anymore because lately, from I heard, I think it's Daddy 05. They basically deleted all their videos except for one supposed apology video. But yeah, that drama's it's still kind of going on because apparently the biological mother came out and watched her children again, and that sort of turned into a, a very I would say a very justified reason of people getting angry over not the biological mother, but just how cruel and vindictive of what Dio 5 and those and the father really is. Just but yeah, that drama is still going on. It's never really ended. Uh, but yeah, now I can finally. That's the best part. Now I finally get to be able to there. Now this is set. Finally turn off the laptop, and now I can do this with complete silence, and there is no background noise. Uh, uh, but yeah, that drama is still going on. And not only that, a few key factors as well is that well, a few things is that there's also been some bigger drama, or I wouldn't say bigger, but other dramas, stuff such as Angry McTowell threatening to dox Jeff Holiday, and Tildeer versus Cognitive Thoughts and that sort of drama. Granted, I've been more paying attention to Angry McTowell and Cognitive Thoughts and those dramas because I feel like with those dramas I actually have more of a bone or stake into the what's going on. There, this time I have an eye on the actual hangout inside the hangout room, and so this time I'll be able to know when someone comes in because I want to test it out. I want to test out this new mic because it's lately been weird. Like like it does filter out everything, but the that's the good news. Bad news is sometimes it works in terms of having other people actually hopping on in, then they can speak, but then I can't hear them, and that can be a little awkward, especially with other things. There, sorry for opening your laptop because I realized shoot can't have this laptop closed because then I won't be able to know what's going on Twitter and Without that, then I can't tell if people want to hop on in or not. Oh well. The problem with my life is that when I get free time just to do these sort of events, like hangouts, making videos, and all that, it's always really late at night when most people are asleep. And the daytime, it's too difficult because there's too many loud noises and distractions. Yeah, yeah. People are generally more sensitive to arguments and stuff of that nature, and that's largely because a lot of people wanna like they're it sort of falls into the sort of the trappings of there's lack of an enemy, sort of like without an opponent, it forces groups of people to just eat each other alive, and that sort of creates drama circles, and it perpetuates them pretty quick. Um, and I've seen the pattern before where groups around YouTube and in all these parks just and a lot of people just want to continue drama, and they eh, and they refuse to quit. Uh, by the way, David Less, aren't you one of my first subscribers? I don't remember. I recognize the name somewhat. I don't know if you were one of the first subscribers. If so, welcome. Uh, let's see here. On other news, I'm trying to make a video, an introductory video on how to debunk Steve Shives. And granted, it's more of an introductory video. Uh, Marchivilli's The Prince? No, I've never heard of it. I've literally never heard of that, so it's the first time I've heard of it. Um, I'm also making a video, or I'm considering making a video about Traversable. And granted, it'll be a case study about him, and what a lot of people don't realize is that he's that type of person that wants to play as the nice guy kind of dad that's or once a dad, but just the nice guy who just wants to be everybody's friends and stick out for everybody, but it turns out he's nothing more than a liar. Yeah, same here. Like I like to check out less smaller and lesser known YouTubers. Um there's this one YouTuber that I found known as Dark Cowfish. He's not that big, but I watch him occasionally, and he's one of the few smaller channels that I watch. And there's others as well, but yeah. And you know what the funny thing is? I was looking up on the internet. There's a website called I think it's GodTube. It's literally the Christians, uh, very Christianized version of YouTube, and ultimately they there's a scary thing is that they they actually have articles there talking about a lot of atheists up there in a very fine detail, and and they were always written in such a way where it's almost as if a stalker wrote those articles, and just after reading that, I just had to just leave that website because the language on that article was creepy. It was even creepier that they gave out a list of YouTubers that they vehemently hate, and they just did. They wrote the basically the grammar in such a way where it sort of gives you that creepy vibe that it was written by a creepy stalker. Granted, this is coming from GodTube, so I'm not surprised. Which, speaking of this debate between religious and non-religious, that's the thing I've noticed. Nobody from the atheist side is is talking about GodTube, and the way I see it, I think atheists should debunk the GodTube sort of stuff more because there's a lot of there's a lot of Christians there that avoid the criticisms from the atheists that goes there. Yeah, there are people like that like to uh that basically like to just take criticisms to the next level. There I am. I'm going to tweet out to a few random people if they're duly interested. I think that's two so far. Maybe I'll invite Seth Norian in a later time. It seems like he's busy or sleeping. But yeah, there are some people that really do take criticisms to the next level. Like if you there's people like live life where if you criticize him even once, he'll make bad assumptions about you. Then if you can't beat your arguments, he's just gonna call you long names, and that's not the worst of people. Like I've seen worse people go out and flag other people's videos just because they don't agree with each other. And I've also had uh, have had a few people just go nuts over having a disagreement, and just the level of how people can get is sometimes scary, but that's life, really. Uh, let's see here. Hmm. Let me type this out. This is going to be funny on Twitter. Yeah, it does. Passion does make life interesting in the long run. Granted, there's so few of it these days because, well, too many people are too hateful for disagreements. Granted, it's there. It can happen, but it's just difficult these days. We're just in a very hard time when a lot of things are going on, a lot of dramas are going on. That's how I view life. It kind of goes in a up and down motion like waves. When it's on its highest, that's when life is good. When it's on its lowest, that's when life is at its worst. That's how I view life. It goes up and down and good to bad. There you are. Let me just set this up. I'm just doing this funny little thing. Basically, I'm saying Yobi 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 three times. See if this guy, see if this guy will come because I heard it's true. a rumor that apparently if you say it 3 times, he'll come. Just trying to test the theory out, or just trying to see if it if it works or not. There we are. Uh, but I've been needing to talk to Yobi anyways because I he and I agreed on a discussion on something on the levels of having a conversation, but we never did it because of time constraints. And I've been actively trying to find ways of finding the time to actually do it because I've seen his channel and he's a pretty good, decent YouTuber, but I just have a few questions about him, and he has probably about me too. Plus, lately I've been more or less bored because, like, I remember a year and a half ago when the moment I made a Hangout instantly, I'd have about 10 people trying to get in at the same time. That was fun days. Now it's barely anybody. So I think it's just because people are bored of doing Hangouts. Either that or people moved on to other topics or avenues, which is totally fine by me. Oh, it which conversation? Yeah, it's basically he invites a couple people over his show and he interviews them. It's more of an interview show. Granted, it's more about the anti McTouser stuff, which I've been trying to get into. Certainly that type of conversation, and also that kind of, and just to get to know him and him to get to know me sort of thing. Uh, that's really about it. Okay. Hmm. Now, there's a question about. I don't know if anybody in the chat can answer this or not, but I need to know how PayPal works. Like I understand the basic concept of setting up a PayPal account, but the thing I'm always wondering is what you put into where you live. Is that private or is that open towards anybody watching? Because if it's open towards everybody watching, that may discourage me from just getting a PayPal. Oh, MGTOW. Yeah. Yeah, they are very strange indeed. They're a strange group of people who truly believes that they they believe that the world's problems rest upon women, even though that's not the case. But nevertheless, they're a fascinating subject to debunk and debunk and rebuttal bits and see them whine and moan in the comments section. That's the thing I've been doing. I've been criticizing MGTOWs more. And I've noticed them being very butthurt in the comments of a few of my videos in particular, which I'm totally fine by. In fact, I even gained maybe one or two MGTOW stalkers. Who'd have thunk? But they were not the first stalkers. I've managed to out troll everybody else out to the point where most of those guys are, or most of the old trolls or stalkers just leave me alone because they don't like being trolled by me. Uh, Let me check. Is there any other people? No, I know that she's asleep, so I don't want to do any of that. Uh, hmm, let's see here. I mean, let's see here. I've also been trying to possibly pay a. Oh, yeah, it is. It's an old thing I used to do years ago when MySpace was still a thing. Uh, One thing I've been trying to do is I've been trying to um practice on some of my homing, or not homing, but my art skills more or less, and quite possibly just get better at doing artsy stuff, and as well as I've been considering maybe setting up the PayPal accounts and actually paying an artist to actually do something for me. Granted, I've been more afraid of touching PayPal because I found out that you have to give out the location where you live, and uh, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's all protected, but I don't want anything to happen. That's probably the only thing discouraging me about that. Maybe I'm ignorant, maybe that's not the case. I don't know, I'm just being overcautious. Uh, let's see here. Let's see here. Hmm. It's been ages since I've even spoken to Uzlu, which I've been needing to get back into him. Problem is, every time I try, just nobody seems to pay attention to me anymore, which is totally fine by me, but oh well. Let's see here. Uh, my thoughts on it is that, well, I really don't have much of a thought on it because, well, regarding that sort of topic, I've largely stayed out of it because, yeah, too much drama around that. And people are too against and for that sort of topic. And lately, people have just been tearing families apart over it. So that is literally one of the few things and few topics I just don't participate in eh, because too many people are way too trigger happy on either side. The Russians, eh? Well, the Russians in particular are, from my notice, I mean, they have a very weird definition of democracy, for one thing. At least as far as I understand it. Like, they have a hypothetical presidency. However, the problem is their president in particular likes to do a lot of heinous things towards people that want to run against them, and ultimately he stays in power forever because nobody's challenging that authority through running for office, basically. Um, but not much else, really. Mm, man. uh, let's see here. Okay. One thing I am interested in talking about is, I guess more or less, I've been needing to possibly talk about, I guess my stance on just how life is for a lot of us YouTubers. Like, I truly believe that, I mean, some people have, I got a couple ideas, like, and this idea sort of stems from just how people are just, um, they're not enjoying themselves on YouTube, and they sort of force themselves into mm, debunking the same stuff or talking about the same stuff to the point where they literally they literally do it to the point where it's sort of semi torture to themselves. Which, granted, I'm into the drama usually, except for some dramas, but before I notice, people have been trying to maintain uh, a certain style of videos or a certain series, and they're just not happy doing it. And my advice is always that people really need to let go and just do the things that they want to do instead of what's demanded to them by their fans. Um, and and the more times that they just do what they want to do from the fans, it sort of runs the risk of having those channels become viceroys, and they become a slave to their own fans, and they never actually get to do anything that they legitimately want to do for fun. I mean, that's a big reason why I came on YouTube in the first place, is having fun. Then all of a sudden, I see some YouTubers are like, I have to make a video series about this and that because my fans says so, and I'm there thinking like, no, you don't. You can just do the things you want to do that are fun to you, and you could ignore your fans. Eh, mm, yeah, yeah, that's probably the case. Uh, okay, let me double check in the Hangouts. So far, nobody's joined it, but oh, well, that's fine. I don't really care if I don't really care about me becoming a popular YouTuber or not. To me, that's irrelevant. Like, if I had 10 subscribers for the rest of eternity, that's fine by me. If I had a billion, I would not care even the slightest bit, because I never view popularity as the cool thing for me. Granted, it always makes me pleased that people are subscribed to me. Of course, don't get me wrong, but I just don't care that much about the sub counts or me being popular. In fact, in the way I see it, being popular is more of a detriment, because you could say whatever you like if you're tiny, and nobody's going to give you any slack for it. However, if you're a bigger person, then all suddenly everything you say is going to be criticized. Which, again, I'm for criticism, but if it's to the point where it's like, I have 10 million subscribers and I'm saying I like hot dogs and everybody's being triggered because of that, then that kind of makes what you do online a bit difficult. or not really difficult. It just makes it annoying. That's what I mean. But overall, I don't really care that much about the popularity thing. But a lot of people do care about that, and that kind of leads into how some people in particular just will not let go. I mean, a lot of people just don't want to let go of the popular fame because it gives them that status. Uh, yeah, I'm a bit better. Yeah, I'm quite a bit better than Watch Mojo because, you know, I'm a bit better because I don't care about the popularity. Plus, not to mention, every time when Watch Mojo comes out with a top 10 superheroes and or comic book things, I can pick a lot better top tens than them. Plus, they are too obsessed with using the old iterations of the comic book characters. The problem of those older versions of the comic book characters is that they don't necessarily apply anymore. Now, this is what I mean, or the way I can explain it in such a way that anybody can understand it. In the old Superman comics, I mean, Superman was able to fly through space, like through the other side of the galaxy under 10 seconds. Now, that's illogically impossible because nothing can go faster than the speed of light, and you get that part. But the point I'm saying is that in the newer iterations of the superheroes in the comic books, Superman cannot do nearly as that. He's more ground earth, despite the fact he is superhuman. And the reason why I don't consider the older comics or older comics have any sort of relevancy is because they were written in such a time back then that a lot of people were not only ignorant, but they were just starting out, and plus, nobody even cares that much about the older comics, anyways. And that's why I don't like Watch Mojo because they're too obsessed with the old comics. They never ever talk about the new comics when introducing the uh characters. Oh, Spawn, yeah, that's one of my favorite comics. I think that's my second favorite comics. I used to read Spawn all the time, but for some reason forgot. But I stopped reading into that years ago. Yeah, yeah, he was pretty old. I don't remember if he was newish or old. I don't entirely remember, but it's been a while since I even read those sorts of side comics. Yeah, I did, and Superman was, yeah, he was, and yeah, Superman was. I think I'm more of a comic book geek on DC and lore sort of stuff, not so much of what the characters were used for in terms of the real world. So I know a lot about the DC comics. I know a tiny a bit about Marvel, but I always get the characters confused with Marvel, so I rarely even go there. I just go on. I just stick with DC, and that's just my bread and butter for comics. And I feel like I am having a major letdown over DC's newest comic series, Rebirth, because it's taking them so damn long to reveal who is Doctor Manhattan and that sort of stuff. Granted, I get it, it's a slow reveal up to that. It's like they're showing Doctor Ozzy on the Ozymandias, and they've done it in a really great way. But to me, I'm just getting impatient. And granted, I like the idea of showing the new stuff about each character, but giving out the old aspects that everybody loved back then, which makes sense. But I guess I'm just being impatient. That's all when it comes to DC Rebirth. Uh, Other than DC Rebirth, eh, I've been just trying to get into this one comic book series about it's the Lanterns sort of series, and I'm a big fan of the Lantern series. Um, and I've read quite a bit into it. So, ah, manga. Okay, I've always been curious about that. Like, what's the difference between anime and manga? Because I don't know. That's probably me being ignorant, but don't they sound the same to me? Or they're not really the same. I'm pretty sure manga is comics and anime is more TV oriented. I don't know really. I've always wondered about that. Like, what's the difference between anime and manga? Is my question. Yeah, it's possible. It could be the same. Like, again, it's just one of those things in life I always wondered. I rarely ever go into manga though, because there's barely anything I'm interested. Like the stuff I am interested is oh, is that the difference? All right. Anyways, regarding that, I rarely ever read any manga because there's barely anything that's worth reading into unless if it's something classic like the Dragon Ball sort of stuff or stuff that nature really. Oh really? I did not know that. Hmm. What else was I going to talk about? Uh, in regards to my new video I'm trying to make, I think the new video I'm trying to make, I'm sort of experimenting with philosophical ideas, so I'm not entirely sure how well that'll play out. Not entirely sure how well that will just yeah work. Uh, let's see here. I'm checking Twitter because I did send bunch a couple of links to join the hangout to a few people I know of. Just checking if they're interested. That's all. I've been needing to talk to Yobi Axis. So far, it doesn't seem like he's interested. Oh well. Uh, let's see here. Mm, huh. Max Bear. I believe I know the guy somewhat. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Oh my god, I'm not going to show that. No. Just no. Eh, Yeah, I'm just not going to show any of that because that's just disturbing in my eyes. Legitimately something that actually burns my eyes. Let's see here. Yeah. I guess the things I'm interested in right now is just talking about debates and debunking stupidity wherever I see it. A lot of it's coming from the MGTOW community, unfortunately. Eh, hmm, I might just try Facebook. One thing I've always been interested about the MGTOW community in particular is them trying to adopt the matrix sort of pill philosophy, which I get. That makes sense in terms of making people understand the concepts better, and the analogy can work sometimes. However, my criticisms of that sort of approach is that of it's really two criticisms actually. The first one is it's largely the analogy doesn't always work. I mean, people don't automatically wake up assuming that they drink the Kool Aid. Plus, not to mention their approach of how they conduct themselves online seems to be more of out of anger than logic and reasoning. And my second overall criticisms of the MGTOW community is it more or less stems from the fact that it's kind of a cliche at this point, so there shouldn't be a reason to even adopt it. I don't know, just the moment when I see people using cliches, I just don't see them as the same person anymore. Granted, I may forgive them if they're nice, but overall, it's harder for me to forgive them if they keep constantly going back to cliches that have been around for like a decade now. In fact, almost 2 decades, because I think The Matrix was made in 2001, so it's almost 2 decades. And the moment when I see people just this overall use cliches like that, it always reminds me about crazy conspiracy theorists that always want to use the pill analogy to try and wake people up. Supposedly, speaking of conspiracy theorists, it turns out Alex Jones, him and his wife are having apparently a divorce, apparently, and he's having custody battles over his child. Apparently, uh, I have I have seen dozens and dozens of more MGTOWs like True Charm. There's Red Pill Ghost, Traversable, and also a few others. The Matt Shangy Show. He's another MGTOW I know of. Yeah, I used to pay no attention to them, but it recently I gotten into that topic because well, the more I look into it, the more stupid ideas I found within that sort of realm, and I'm trying to criticize the actual cult side of MGTOW, which is Traversal and namely Traversal and Red Pill Ghost, I believe. And I'm actually having a blast at doing this. Just it's my personal amusement. Um, this kind of goes into a topic of will is anti MGTOW is that going to be a community or not? And I already made a video discussing about that sort of topic, and I personally believe that it's probably likely going to happen. Granted, if it does happen, I don't really care if it becomes community or not. I'm just in it for criticizing MGTOWs. I don't necessarily care if it becomes community or not. That sort of topic has been debated for forever, basically. Like, is X a community? I don't know. I've been on YouTube for an extremely long time, and I've seen people go around and around saying X is a community, X is not a community. Then it never ends. It really does. And that's why I don't pay attention to people that are like, or I wouldn't say I don't pay attention. I just don't partake in that kind of conversation where it's like, is anti-feminism a community, or is feminism a community, or is X and Y Z a community? It's just I don't pay attention to that because, or partake in that kind of conversation because I've seen this over and over again. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, they could try, but no, Alex Jones is too far gone. He really is. I doubt, I really doubt Alex Jones will ever be a MGTOW because he's too fixated on the globalist sort of agenda and stuff of that nature. And or claiming that somehow the tires in cars makes people naturally gay, and that's what he thinks that they put in car tires. The one thing that bugs me about Alex Jones is that he's suddenly a credible site for debunking the opposite's political spectrum. And a few notable YouTubers I know of have done this by crediting Alex Jones. Granted, it's a few, not everyone. And I have to remind them that you're talking about the same person that once advocated that bugs should have more rights than humans and they'll eventually sue humans. And he just, honestly, Alex Jones, he's a nut. Bottom line. If you want to use Alex Jones as a credible source for information, that's up to you. I'm just saying he's a crazy person. Don't don't buy into what he says. It's really crazy. Uh, let's see here. Uh, uh, well, community is a very broad word. To me, community just means a couple people that interact with each other, and overall, they just want to communicate or just want to work in a group team effort. Granted, I've already mentioned that that the community thing is kind of a died out conversation, but overall, I just see people. If you want to believe in that or not, that's totally up to you. That's I don't care. But personally, what I believe is that a community is just a bunch of people that agree on the same issues. They don't have to agree on everything, and they can work together on solving problems and or just chatting with each other, and and it can go into levels and depths of what types of communities there are. But the bottom line is just people that like each other, and chat with each other, and that's really the bottom line. Or that's the way I see it. If there is a community on some levels, but I've seen, but in comparison to supposed skeptic community versus the the MGTOW community is actually a real thing because they actually have a website where you actually have to pay them money in order to be on that website. That and they share very private stories with each other. And unlike the skeptic community or supposed skeptic community, if you want to believe that or not, MGTOWs actually try a lot harder at defending themselves. Like I'm making a response video to this MGTOW troll, and I know what's going to happen. The MGTOWs are all going to band together and support this one MGTOW just because I'm trolling him. If that was not MGTOW and that was some random skeptic or YouTube skeptic, not that many people would actually defend them because they don't have that drive, that built-in ideology drive to protect another person. And that's the biggest reason why I really consider the MGTOW community as an actual community, because they have an actual ideology that sort of it doesn't dictate that they have to cooperate, but it breeds that kind of mentality of us versus them mentality, which makes them a lot more likely to defend each other or talk to each other a lot more than a regular random community from YouTube. Let's see here. Eh. Uh, I think I'm gonna end the hangout here because I'm tired. But anyways, thanks for watching, and see you all next time in the next video or hangouts. Hopefully, next time I'll be able to have more guests on. Hopefully. But anyways, see you all next video or hangout.